Have you ever wondered about the intricacies of international diplomacy? Well, consider the current scenario between the United States and Israel. President Biden, in a recent conversation with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, made it clear that the United States would not support a potential invasion of Rafah without a comprehensive plan to protect civilians. However, a source reveals that the main focus of the call was a potential hostage deal with Hamas. Now, this comes in the wake of a video released by Hamas featuring two hostages. On one side, Israeli Omri Moran, and on the other, American-Israeli Keith Siegel. In the footage, Siegel pleads for Israel to negotiate a hostage release deal. It is important to note that there was a sense of duress in his voice, and it is unclear where or when the video was shot. In the meantime, the Secretary of State finds himself in Saudi Arabia. Hamas is considering a new deal that calls for the release of hostages held since the 7th of October in exchange for a pause in the ongoing conflict in Gaza. This morning, Tony Blinken claimed that Israel has presented Hamas with an extraordinarily generous proposal, adding that Hamas is the only entity standing in the way of a ceasefire for the people of Gaza. In the US's opinion, Israel's proposal to Hamas is extraordinarily generous. The Secretary of State has called on Hamas to accept the deal swiftly. Some of Israel's previous demands have been lessened, making it a proposal that Hamas might consider accepting. However, the clock is ticking. Israel has been planning to invade Rafah for some time, and US officials are acutely aware that Israel is likely to proceed with the invasion if there is no agreement on a ceasefire and the release of hostages. In the midst of this scenario, there are concerns within the State Department that Israel might not be using American-provided weapons in accordance with international law. There is no consensus within the department regarding this matter. This issue will come to the fore next week, due to a new national security memorandum signed by President Biden last year. The State Department is required to provide an assessment of whether countries using American-made weaponry are doing so in accordance with international law. Because of the disagreement within the State Department, it will be intriguing to see what the final determination from the Secretary of State will be when he provides the assessment to Congress next week. In summary, the international stage is a complex web of negotiations, demands, and agreements, as evidenced by the current situation between the United States, Israel, and Hamas. The stakes are high, with the lives of hostages and the potential invasion of Rafah in the balance. Amid these tensions, questions about the use of American-made weapons add another layer of complexity to this already intricate scenario.